I will ask your participation, and thank you for listening then. The first one is the slam poetry. You know, slam poetry is a genre which is really growing in Hungary and elsewhere as well, and it's a vehicle for critical speech, for freedom of speech, and for talking about social issues. And right now in Hungary, the slam poetry champion, the national champion, is a wonderful Roma-Hungarian slammer. And he's also the champion in the team championship, and it's a really encouraging thing, and all of his work. And there are other wonderful Roma-Hungarians as well included in the slam scene. So this is a poem that I wrote in 2010 in New York, and when at CU we performed first time the hate speech monologues, we closed the performance with this poem, and I didn't read it, but Simona, who's part of this very nice summer school, she recited it by heart. The leaves on beautiful trees. Hear me, my love, it's so much easier to write about love than about hate. Do you think that a warm smile can shine through prejudice and hate? You say that you cannot tell your parents that you are dating me because I'm liberal. Could you tell them that I'm a gypsy or Jew? Could you tell them that I'm a Muslim? What would they say if I had brown or black skin? What would they say if I were an atheist? What would they say if I had a nose so much different from yours? Would your people punish you more for our sacred love if you were a girl? Would they burn you as a witch? Would they cut your hair or stone you to death? What would your people do to you if you were gay? My people? I'm not sure about my people. But you say it's so human. You mean hatred of the other? You mean cruelty and darkness? You mean fear of freedom? Or you mean sharing respect? You mean learning from the other? You mean joyful life? You mean freedom from fear? What would they say if they knew that we made love? What would they say if they knew that I wanted you to fuck me? What would they say if they saw that we are so different? Would they understand that we are the same as the water in the river and the leaves on beautiful trees? As people in the New York subway, what would they think and what would they say? Thank you. So this was the first one. Thank you. And so the second one, a version of it I read this year on the International Roma Day in Gallery 8 at an exhibition opening there, at one of their wonderful exhibition openings. These are so wonderful institutions here in the neighborhood, Gallery 8 and Goya, among them outstanding. And there I read in English and Hungarian, line by line, changing the language. Now I will read only in English, and I ask you that it's a participatory slam. In slam poetry, sometimes slammers, slam poets include the audience by asking them to add a word, usually when the slammer raised the hand. So I ask you that when I raise my hand, please say, and it would be really nice if you would do it in your own language. Say your own language equal, like equality. So if you could do it in your own language, it would be a nice cacophonic cry for equality. So let's try it. Yeah, imagine that we are at a demonstration and we need to be loud. Not an aggressive shouting, but we need to be heard. So one more time. It's getting better. As the one who recognizes that whoever creates pictures of suppression is not free and not As the one who recognized it, that whoever finds that pictures of suppression are exotically exciting is not free and not
equal.
As the one who recognizes that each member of the suppressed group is a free person who is
Equally
free. We need to catch the rate. As the one who does not care about the skin color of her lover. As the one who does not hide her Roma lover from her family. As the one who does not have a head of the family in her family. As the emancipated Muslim Roma woman. As the Roma Hungarian sex worker girl in Zurich and the richest woman. As the one who understands that the hardness of intersectionality of being discriminated based on several features. As the Roma woman at the corner of Prater Street who speaks of her husband as her lord. As my great-grandmother who was the first girl to graduate from high school at Szabadka. As my great-grandmother who with her nose having had corrected on our family photograph. As the Roma girl who has been diligently studying and working since her early childhood. As the little Roma girl in kindergarten with whom the other kids are not playing, as their parents told them that they should not play with her for she is Roma. As the parent who does not tell her child who goes to kindergarten that she should not play with the little Roma girl. As the little Jewish Hungarian girl who was sitting next to my mother in the schoolroom until she was deported. As my mother who always rejected non-Roma parents who requested from her to have their children seated not next to a Roma child. As my brother who has been working in many schools also for having Roma Hungarians and all other Hungarians studying in shared schools. As the Roma Hungarian who got bullets shot into her house at the end of the village. As the one who does not call the series of hate crimes against Roma Hungarians as Roma killings. As the court that had the judgment in Hungary to decide that Roma Hungarians in Miskolc in North Hungary were not anti-Hungarian. As Károly Glug, the head of policy in Veszprém County in Hungary, would be if he did not write that the anti-Roma incitement at Devecser, which incited imminent danger, did not have to be investigated as a crime of incitement to violence that causes imminent danger. As the one who knows that the anti-Roma hatred does not insult only Roma, it insults all of us. As the one who does not speak about Roma and Hungarian as if the Roma Hungarians would not be Hungarians as well. As the little Roma Hungarian girl whom the teacher excluded from the class chorus as she allegedly had very ugly voice. As the teacher who does not exclude the little Roma girl from the class chorus, instead pays special attention to her to make sure that she's happy. As the one who does not have prejudices based on negative generalization. As the one who knows that gypsies in Hungary are also Hungarians as well. As the normal person who has Roma friends. As the one who does not let anti-Roma speech go without responding to it, does not let it go in her family, by her lover, or among her friends neither. As the one who considers everybody else as free as herself. As the one who knows that the equally free other is a brother. Because if she is not, then neither you are. Thank you very much. It's not easy to catch the rhythm for a participatory slam, but you were doing nicely and helpfully. Thank you. So just quickly a last one. It's also from a performance of the hate speech monologues that since 2013 I have organized with wonderful students at CU, among them Sebi is also here. She participated both last year and this year in the performance wonderfully. And this text I will read, I performed with an African-American friend, sort of as a duet, And while I was doing it, a picture of my father and an African-American human rights activist singer, Paul Robson, was on the screen. They should have imagined Philip is violent as a black man must be, but then they noticed that instead of violence, he's got his violin. Fragile instrument, so much European, so sophisticated. Then they thought, fine, he's black, certainly plays jazz, although he also plays Mozart. You see how similar Paul Robson and my father singing Old Man River look like? Two deep-voiced, eyed free men singing Old Man River, two wide, broad rivers whisper stories, the Danube and the Mississippi. You see that the skin of my father is dark, I mean, too dark to be white. Is it just old picture? Or was there a gypsy in old family? Paul Robson and my father singing Old Man River, singing about skin color by my great-grandmother dealing with the shape of her Jewish nose. Are we free to change the color of our skin? Are we free to paint over part of our nose? You can baptize the day before your marriage as my great-grandmother did. Aren't you still Jewish? You can be the first girl who graduated from high school in your town, as my great-grandmother did. Aren't you still woman? The sister of my great-grandmother and her husband were shot to the Danube in January 1945. What would they say if they heard that the current chairman of the Hungarian parliament said in fall 1990, when cab drivers blocked bridges over a broad river, that they should be shot to the Danube? Paul Robson and my father were singing about human rights. History got into the deep-voiced eyes of these two free men, singing Old Man River in English and in Hungarian. Paul got blacklisted in the McCarthy era. Wait, how is it when a black man gets blacklisted? My father was born in a small village to a 6-children Catholic family and often said, I'm not a servant of anyone. My father died 6 years before, Shine in 1989. We did not hear when one of her sisters at the family Christmas in 1990 objected to voting for a party saying, but those are the Jews. And it was not such a big news when in 2009 in New York an anti-Semitic and anti-Roma Hungarian immigrant asked me about how much Jewish blood I have, and somehow my Jewish Hungarian great-grandmother decided to show up in that room in New York, and then the racist fellow Hungarian told me, then you are like Barack Obama. I was more surprised when I heard in a party of a dance choreographer also in Manhattan about Obama that he has white values. So who's white and who's black? Paul Robson and my father sing about skin color at the Mississippi were niggers in these lines of the song. Niggers all work on the Mississippi. Niggers all work while white folks play. Was first changed to darkies, then to colored folks, then to we all. Paul Robson and my father sing about freedom to love at the Danube, where a non-Roma girl may not tell her parents if she's got a Roma boyfriend, as her parents would not tolerate that. Paul Robson and my father, their voices join forces, and I get not the facts, but the truth. The simple truth that they have been brothers. Thank you very much for the attention. Thank you very much. And the whole summer school is wonderful, and I wish you a wonderful discussion today in this really inspiring place, which is Goya. And I'm so sorry again that I will have to run. See you soon then, tomorrow or later. Thank you.